today we'll be examining the thematic concept of perseverance in our assigned reading, Bud, Not Buddy. But first we're going to go over our I can statements. So number one is I can apply a wide range of strategies to evaluate a book's entirety. Number two is I can apply that knowledge in creating a sticky note theme chart to examine the perseverance the main character faces throughout the story. And number three is I can compare and contrast events in the story by drawing specific details from the text. So to start off, raise your hand if you know what perseverance is or what a general example of it might be. Yes.
I think that it's maybe when a character continues to do something in the story despite, many things popping up, I guess randomly out of nowhere, they keep going.
Yeah, so they persevere. Good. Anybody else?
I have a good example, maybe trying to balance your schoolwork and then playing sports
Good, yeah.
together.
Okay, so we're going to use that knowledge of perseverance that we already have, and we're going to apply it to create a sticky note theme chart from our assigned reading about how the main character, Bud, perseveres throughout the story. So I'm going to assign each of you a group, and group 1 will have chapters 1 through 3. Group 2 will have chapters 4 through 7. Group 3 will have chapters 8 through 11. Group 4 will have chapters 12 through 15. And group 5 will have chapters 16 through 19. So in your assigned group, take your assigned chapters and flip through them, look through them, remember what you read, and pull out examples where Bud had to persevere through the story.
Okay, class, let's get back together as a group so we can create our sticky note theme chart. All right, so you guys are all split up into different groups, and each of you guys are, you're coming up with your own ideas of what perseverance is. And we're going to take our sticky notes, we're going to put it on the board, and we're going to sort of explain it, we're going to sort of talk about it. So we're going to start with group number 1. I need you guys to raise your hands. All right, you have chapters 1 through 3.
We came up with he escapes his new foster home family. He does not allow this family to belittle him, and he escapes the shed that he was locked in by busting out the window.
Wow, those are some good examples. Good job. Group number 1 is right here. Okay. Group number 2, you had chapters 4 through 7. All right.
Right, so we said that Bud goes where he knows he will have shelter, so he slept up under some trees where he would have cover and nobody could really see him. He always carries a blanket with him. And then he also went to the mission for breakfast so he could have food. And then he also continued to have optimism. His mom used to always tell him when one door closes, another one opens. So he really kept that to heart throughout the whole story and just kind of kept looking for that door and just kept going.
Wow, guys, that is a really good example. Good job, group number 2. Have to stay optimistic. All right, group number 3, you had chapters 8 through 11. All right, some ideas of perseverance.
We came up with he meets with his friend Bugs, and they travel together and find places to eat. And this was an example of perseverance because of survival. And then Bud doesn't make the train, but he still keeps moving on with his journey.
Good job, group number 3. All right. So number 4, you had chapters 12 through 15.
We said that Bud keeps from crying whenever Calloway denies him as his son. This is kind of showing him keeping his composure, even though throughout this journey he really hasn't had anybody to belong to. So this is kind of him keeping up that front and everything and protecting himself. And then he also keeps his composure around the other bandmates because he doesn't want them to think he's like a wimp or something. But he kind of loses it whenever he starts to feel at home, and then he just bursts into tears. But even then, he's felt like he's finally, reached the end of that journey and he feels at home.
Good job. Good deal. All right, now last group. Group number 5, 16 through 19.
We came up with Miss Thomas becomes like a mother to fill the void of Bud no longer having one. And then the band becomes his family and he finds a passion for music.
Wow, those are some really good examples. You guys did an awesome job today, giving some really good examples of perseverance. You know, this story is definitely centered around perseverance and survival. Survival is the biggest, issue that he faces. He's just trying to survive. He's been denied by everybody around him, and but he keeps going. And that, I think, is the lesson that we can take away from the story. So we talked about in chapters 1 through 3, he escapes from his foster home, and let's see, it talks about how he escaped, or he was busting out the window in the shed. And then chapters 4 through 7, let's see, it talks about optimism. His mom used to tell him when one door closes, another door opens. I love those things. Good job, group number 2. All right, group number 3. Let's see, it says he meets with his friend Bugs. And it talks about how Bud doesn't make it on the train, but he keeps moving forward with his journey. He's not giving up. He's persevering. All right, group number 4. See, it talks about he keeps his composure around the bandmates that he's with until he finally feels at home with them. And then he cries. He finally feels that, the love that he's been seeking from, the people around him. And then group number 5, chapters 16 through 19, talks about how Miss Thomas becomes like a mother and fills that void for Bud, so I think that this story is just a wonderful story, and, you're just sort of glad that he's found his home with the band and Miss Thomas. Okay, class, so what I have done for you guys is I went and I made a chart just like ours that we've made up here. I did it in a little bit different format for you guys, just so it'd be a little bit more laid out, but it's something that there's a project that you guys are going to be doing, and it's something that you can use to refer back to. So it'll be really, really helpful with that, okay? And we'll talk about that project a little bit more in just a few minutes, okay? So, one thing that I do want to cover real quick, I want you all to look at your theme charts that I passed out to you guys, and these are the copies that I made, so I want you to look at them real quick and make sure everything that we covered up here is on those charts so you can refer back to them for our project. And if there's not, please let me know, and we'll fix it and everything. But another thing, do y'all want to add anything, or is there anything missing, maybe from the story? Maybe your group didn't have a certain chapter or something that you'd like to go over and add? Yes.
What about the Great Depression? Because this is when the book was set in, and they had to look for food for survival, and they didn't have any money because of the Great Depression.
Yeah, that is a great point. And that is something that Bud had to persevere through throughout the whole story. And that's something I want you all to take out a pen, something. I want you to write this on your chart because it's a really great point that she just made. And I'm going to write that under the chapters 16 through 19 because it kind of captures the whole story. That's the setting of our story, and that's something that he had to go through throughout the whole time. He was constantly looking for food, constantly looking for shelter. He didn't have a family or a typical family like what most of us do that he can kind of go to each and every single day. So that was something that he had to persevere through every day. So I want you guys to write that down somewhere on your charts. It doesn't have to necessarily be at the very end. You can put it wherever, it'll kind of help you remember what it is. All right, so we got the Great Depression. Is there anything else that you would like to add? Yes.
Maybe the fact that he was African American, maybe his race somehow.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. Race and everything in this book is definitely a huge issue. It was definitely an issue during the Great Depression, and it's something that Bud faced on his journey. Everywhere he looked, he was constantly getting looks and everything just from what he labeled as white families. And his first foster family was actually a white family. And the reason they mistreated him so badly, one of the reasons they mistreated him, not just because he was a foster child, but also he was because of his race. And that was something that throughout the story people would look at him and they would frown upon. That was just something back then that, was not as accepted as it is now. So that is a great point, and I'm glad y'all pointed that out. So I want you to write that just somewhere. I'm going to write it up here with our first chapters and everything because it's
what we're gonna do, or what you're gonna do as individuals, I don't want you doing group work on this, because I really wanna kind of see what you guys know and kind of, gauge that and make sure you understand how like our themes and everything like that, our stories work. So, what you're gonna do is on your project, there is a list of themes, and I want you guys to choose one of those. The perseverance is not on there. I'm open to you guys coming and asking me about different themes that may not be listed, but perseverance cannot be one that is used because we've covered it in class, so you guys know kind of what it covers. So, but any of the things that are listed on that list, you can definitely do. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a chart just like this. Okay, so, you don't have to necessarily do it on paper for those of you who like to use technology. You can make a PowerPoint presentation. I'm definitely open for you guys doing that. Or if you want to make a chart very similar to the one that I made for you guys, and then just put like your theme and everything on the side, and then you can go through each of the chapters, and you'll cover the whole book with it. So I want you guys to go into as much detail as you can, and just go through and examine the different points and everything of what your certain theme is. Okay. So does anybody have any